everyone, welcome back to the Blame Game for this week's MSI group stage Blame Game. It was a weird one. I wanted to do this in the middle of the group stage, but with the ping things going on, getting a 9-game day, and people getting sick, I didn't get around to doing it until I got home. Then I had other stuff to take care of, obviously. So sorry for this one coming out a little bit late, and anytime you go 0-4 versus your main rival in Europe, there's always going to be a lot of blame to go around. And so for this episode, rather than try to look at specific plays and say if it was true or false, I just want to target that blame in terms of where I think it makes the most sense to go, and it'll be a little bit more conversational than scripted with hyper-focused points. So the two biggest targets for people this tournament have definitely been Jojo and Danny, somewhat through no fault of their own. There's been a ton of narrative about the young guns from NA giving new hope to the region, and of course, when they go out there and flop a little bit, people are going to target them. And I do want to say that just because they're young and rookies is not a shield to stop any criticism from coming their way. There is a long line of young players doing well internationally. We always talk about, like, Faker was 17 when he won his first championship and stuff like that. And even recently, Bin, I believe, was 17 in 2020 when he made the World Finals. So League is not a sport where a rookie or young teenager can't thrive. However, not to go too far in that direction of saying that the young players are fine to flame, it's also not uncommon to have some of the greatest players of all time go to an international event and kind of flop. Perks and MSI 2016 with the G2 and 8 vacation memes.
We decided that Koreans wanted to go home, so taking that vacation would be maybe better for us.
I believe he was 17 or 18 around that time as well, and that was not going to be the end of his career despite that horrendous showing that the team had. And for EG, where I'm landing with these guys is that they're young, like really young. 2 of the 5 youngest players in the entire tournament are from EG, and that is something that North America rarely has the opportunity to showboat about, is having some of the youngest talent at a tournament. And so while they have not gone out and stomped like people like Bin and Faker and some of the other people have, they're also not in the worst company ever if their first international tournament does not go well. So I don't want people to write them off or totally shit on them. However, they probably are amongst some of the worst performing members on the team, and I want to identify some areas that they struggled with. Jojo and Danny both played into matchups that they might not be super comfortable with.
It looks like they're gonna give this level 2 up. Oh, very nice. Q there, that's big problems, Danny. Getting ignited. Volker with a good save, but it's not enough. Blackhead finds Mirthblood. There we go, G2 popping off again right away with the Pike. Targamas on the level 2. You can just see that EG are not comfortable playing against this pick. The gap close from the E forward into the pull back gets Danny, does not flash the hook, doesn't respect it.
In terms of the Anivia or the Pike, and that is one area that they'll need to improve on because there's 150 champions in League of Legends. You don't know when a curveball is going to come your way, but the thing is, you can still hit curveballs, and so this is something that they're going to need to learn to not get exploited in. When there's something that they're not quite used to playing, you need to be able to adapt to that situation. And as younger talent, maybe you could argue they haven't seen quite as many situations, but they got exploited pretty hard by G2's champion pools. This brings me to Danny's laning, which was a problem that most people identified heading into the tournament. People knew that he was not a great laner. Looking at his run through playoffs, he got killed a couple times, and that was a big concern. And it again got exploited. But I want to identify the different factors that can lead to a struggling performance in lane beyond just actual trading patterns and things like that. For example, when they got killed in that lane versus Pike, I just don't think he knew how far the engage range for Pike could be at level 2 because it seemed like they understood they were going to lose the push and needed to back off the wave. They just didn't get far enough back. Many times it was really a lack of map awareness that got them killed, like in this situation, not knowing that the jungler wouldn't be in the mid skirmish, thinking he could take this 1v1, or in this bot lane play, just getting way too over aggressive, falling up on Vulcan's engage. That gets them killed. The worst instance of straight laning outplay that I can remember in the 2v2 was actually losing this flash here, and it was not counting the Rakan cooldowns and then losing his flash, which then really got exploited by Jankos and the bot lane coming down there to punish him with a kill. The reason I want to highlight these differences in what's causing the deaths is because it's not like he's getting turbo skill gapped by Flacken and Targamas, I would say. It's better champ pools in their favor, as well as working well together as a team and throwing these different looks, more creative plays than North America has, that is tripping Danny up more than just getting killed. And the reason it's worth highlighting this is because going forward into the tournament, it's just going to get more difficult skill-wise because you're going up against Gumayushi and Keria and Gala and Ming. And so that's where I'm going to keep my eye on Danny to see if the actual 2v2 laning is getting outplayed through trades mostly, or if it continues to be just map movements and team coordination things. This play also blew up on Reddit, and it resulted in a lot of people seeming to flame Danny here, and I was surprised at how much it got. Danny got flamed for just trying to poke somebody out in a situation where they have Baron buff and can cycle inhibitors for triple inhib. I actually think his decision here is correct. If I was going to blame anyone, it would be Vulcan's Engage going on someone with GA up, where he's just going to insta-die anyways. Maybe you can win the fight there if you proc the GA, but I think Danny's play is actually way safer, where you just chunk out him to half health and then keep hitting the inhibitors and just cycle them and then sit on them with your Baron buff and just kind of win the game if G2 don't engage. To further highlight some of the weird team fight decisions that they were making in this game, just look at the play a little bit later on. Danny gets jumped on by Broken Blade and there's no support. Galio's going to ult in over the top, and Inspired does the right thing in terms of interrupting that, but I have no idea why the entire rest of the team didn't just focus down Broken Blade from there and insta-kill him. I don't know why you leave a 7-kill Camille lock in a 1v1 with your AD carry when you can just go spend a Rakan ult to knock him up or kill him completely. I don't know if they win the fight this way, but I don't think abandoning your AD carry is quite the play. Most of the issues you see cropping up for EG were problems that people kind of anticipated in the analysis that we were doing on our talk shows and stuff like that. I think the person who has underperformed the most relative to expectations heading into the tournament has actually been Vulcan. There's been a ton of head-scratching engages like this one where it just makes him look kind of bad, and I know he's a better player than this, which is why it's frustrating for me to be seeing him make these mistakes. It might sound like I've done a lot of deflecting so far for EG, but I think fans have a legitimate reason to be upset. This is the worst performance heads-up North America has ever had against Europe in MSI since the double round robin was introduced in 2016. Every single time since then, we have at least won a single game against them, usually resulting in a 1-1 scoreline, and then, you know, tiebreakers don't really go our way. That's not what North America excels at. But more or less, the heads up has actually been relatively close. And this is a massive failure to go 0-4 against G2, especially considering some of these games were so winnable, where G2 was making mistakes, throwing at Baron.
Took a lot. He's still eating damage to the Baron. The edge will he's almost there, but Inspired's in the mix. Now EG are going to go back through. Inspired gets one. Inspired gets two. EG are going to get the Baron as well.
Everyone knows EU over NA, but at least in head-to-head scores, there were times where we were able to go toe-to-toe with them. And I think it's fair to be disappointed in the championship representative from the LCS doing this badly against them. The only shot of redemption is to start winning some of these games in the Rumble stage coming up this weekend. That's going to do it for this week of the Blame Game. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry it's been a little slow. I will be doing another one shortly on the format changes that a lot of people have been talking about, hopefully for MSI, and what's been disappointing with them this time. So stay tuned on the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys soon.
Hello everyone, it is me, Travis. I'm staying up late again for MSI this year. Wow, I'm excited for when I get to finally travel to international events, starting with Worlds this year. But the cool thing is that I would probably not have the will to do this if it wasn't for Alienware supporting me, because it's late. It's very late here in California, and I'm tired. But it doesn't matter, because I want to get you this great coverage, and Alienware wants to support me getting you that great coverage. So thank you to Alienware for making this all possible, and I will stay awake with their support.